windy. You got to wear something. All right, well, we're going to get started. I'll keep an eye out for more people that were supposed to come. But so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Connie, surprise. I have been in the travel industry for 18 years now, and Pack Your Bags Travel has been around for just about 11 years, coming up on our 11-year anniversary next week. So if you know me, you know I love travel. I love Ireland. I've been to Ireland multiple times. Some of you on tonight have been to Ireland with me more than once. And I've had a lot of requests from family, friends, and clients to put a trip together for Ireland because they all want to travel. So that's what I did. So that is what the trip in September represents. I worked really hard. It is a custom itinerary. I worked really hard at picking some traditional sites, some well-known sites for those of you that haven't been before. When you say you went to Ireland, the first thing people are going to say, oh, did you go to Dublin? Did you do Blarney Castle? Have you seen the Cliffs of Moher? And yes, you're going to be able to say that. But then you're also going to see some of the off the beaten path type places like the Michael Collins Center, like the ARAN Islands in INISHMORE. And then GLENDALOUGH, those are some off the beaten path kind of sites that not everybody goes to. So it'll be a nice mix of both with plenty of fun in between. So I am going to get started with a PowerPoint presentation. I think all of you are muted and I thank you for that. Feel free to use the chat button down below to type in any questions you might have. I kind of want to like go through my thing and then at the end we'll answer any of the questions. I will try not to be too long-winded, but it's hard when I'm talking about Ireland to not be long-winded. So, all right, let's get started. So as you know, the name of the tour is Undiscovered Ireland, September 21st to October 1st. This is an 8-night trip. One day more than the usual week-long trip. We are departing September 21st, which is a Thursday. We leave out of JFK at 9:05 flight out of JFK nonstop into Dublin with an arrival into Dublin at 8:40 a.m. So what I have done in the past, and I plan on doing this time along also, is I rent a vehicle that usually a motor coach. We park at Albany Airport in their long distance parking. And you can be dropped off. You can park there at $6 a day, whatever you choose to do. The bus will bring us right down to JFK, right to our terminal, Terminal 4, drop us off. It'll be waiting for us on a return, bring us back to Albany Airport. And now I do have several people that are coming from a distance. So that is your choice. If you want to fly into Albany, go with us. You want to fly into JFK, meet us there and fly with us, or, you know, perhaps even just fly yourself into Ireland, whether you go in a day early or you fly in that same day, knowing that our flight arrives at 8:40 a.m. in the morning. You need to be there prior to 8:40 in the morning, because once we arrive and claim our luggage, we meet our driver and our guide, we hop on the bus and off we go for the day. If you come in later, then you have to get yourself to the hotel and hook up with us at some point. So let's get going. This tour is booked through CIE Tours. The reason I use CIE Tours is they're partially owned by the Irish government. So therefore their buses are brand new. Their bus drivers are top notch. They get first choice for tours, excursions, hotel space. We get first pick for breakfast in the morning. I'm not a 7 a.m. hit the ground running kind of person. So we usually get going on the bus around 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, which means breakfast is around, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, somewhere in that neighborhood. And we get that because we're with CIE Tours. So I can tell them when I want to eat breakfast, and that's when it happens. They have a really high guest satisfaction. And this guy here, I don't know who he is, but he's one of their drivers. But I have a driver, Philip Duffy. Some of you have met him on my previous tours. I've used him probably 5 or 6 times now. I'll be using him again in September. And I actually have another tour going in October with another different group. We'll be using him again. Phil Duffy is amazing. He is full of history and knowledge of all of Ireland. Very entertaining, great fun guy. And that's one of the great things about the escorted bus tours is you know, you sit higher in these beautiful luxury motor coaches that are very comfortable. There's a bathroom on board, there's Wi-Fi, there's a plug outlet at every seat on the bus, so you can charge all your stuff. And but as you're driving along, he points out different things that you're driving by. We'll talk about the school system, the government, the retirement system, the past history, anything that's going on. And it's a commentary throughout the entire journey. So although you're stopping and touring different sites throughout the day, you're learning different things about Ireland. It's quite fascinating. So these are our hotels: the Trinity, the Actons, the Rose, the Galmont, and the Limerick. They're all 4- or 5-star properties, and we'll address them individually as we stop at each night. So Dublin arrival. So we arrive at 8:40 in the morning. We get our luggage, we go outside, we meet our driver, he puts our luggage and us on the bus, and off we go. The bus seats 52. The max I will sell is 45 on a bus, so there is some room to spread around. And with our driver, now we get in at 8:40 in the morning, and you know, usually can't check into your hotels till 3-4 o'clock. So I like to hit the ground running and start touring because I like to make the use of the time we have. So the first thing we are going to be doing is a red boat river tour on the River Liffey. It's a glass dome type of boat. It'll take us up and down the river. We'll talk about all the different, we'll learn all about the different history, the comings and goings. We'll go under several of the bridges and hit the different landmarks along the way. It's a great way to start to get your feet wet, get acclimated, and then not too much because it is our first day. And if you can't sleep on an airplane, it's going to be a very long day for you. After the River Liffey cruise, we go to St. Patrick's Cathedral. So for all the times I've been to Dublin, which is 1, 2, 3, probably 4 times I've been to Dublin, I've never made it to St. Patrick's Cathedral. I've driven by, I've learned about it, I've never been in it. It's gorgeous inside, it's full of history. There's been multiple additions to it. It's just an amazing tour. It's about a 45-minute tour, and they'll teach us all about the history and who's owned it and how it's been, you know, attacked and rebuilt. And it's just a great tour to learn about St. Patrick's Cathedral and the fact that it is from 1191. So it's older than any church I think we have here in our country. So that alone is fascinating. From St. Patrick's, after the tour, we head back to our hotel. We are staying at the Trinity Hotel in Dublin. We'll head into our hotel. You'll have some free time to check in, change if you choose to do so, which I'll tell you right now, a lot of people don't change for dinner in Ireland. Whatever you put on that day, that's what you wear all day long. We're going to meet that night for included welcome drink and then a dinner. So we're staying at the Trinity City Hotel. It is across the street from Trinity College, and it's within walking distance of Grafton Street, of the Temple Bar area, and a Nassau Street. So the Temple Bar area is all the bars. If you're watching St. Patrick's Day last week, everything was from the Temple Bar area. Around the corner from here is Grafton Street, which is your cobblestone shopping district. And you also have the Nassau Street, which is great shopping also. One more picture. Where'd it go? Oops, hang on. I got to click on this and then click on that. There we go. It's a great modern property. Let's see, what do we have at this hotel? We've got a bar, a restaurant, outdoor dining space, which I'm not sure we'll use in October, but you never know. We're spending 2 nights at the hotel. So then our first full day, so breakfast is included every morning. It is a buffet every morning. Our bus driver will tell us what time to depart and what time breakfast is. So you make your way down to breakfast. Sometimes it's order off menu and buffet. Sometimes it's just buffet. It really depends on the hotel itself. So we're going to start our second day with a tour of Dublin. So what happens is we have a step-on guide that comes onto our bus. They'll drive around the city of Dublin and point out all the highlights and the histories and really get you acclimated to the area, because later on this day, we're going to have a free time to go off and explore on our own. Our first stop after our city tour is the GPO Museum. The GPO Museum was a very poignant part of the 1916 Easter Uprising, which ultimately led to the creation of the Republic of Ireland. It was fired upon, it was burnt, it was bombed. The only thing that is true that remains of the GPO is actually what you're looking at, the entrance of it. The rest of it had been burned down and destroyed and rebuilt. And it's, again, full of history and artifacts and all that great, wonderful stuff. And then on to what I consider one of the highlights for me. Of all the times I've been to Ireland, I've never been to the Jameson Distillery. I love my Jameson. Here's my Jameson right here. Oh, you can't see it. Anyways, it's in my hand. There it is. We head on to the Jameson Distillery. We'll take a tour. And again, your hotel is only blocks from the Jameson Distillery. So we'll do a tour of the Jameson Distillery. And then we'll do a tasting, a whiskey tasting at the end of it. And then we have free time for the rest of the day. So the bus will provide transportation back to the hotel if that's what you want to do. You can throw anything you might have purchased that day on the bus and then go ahead and walk off to Grafton Street or Temple Bar and meet back at the hotel later. We're right in a very central location so that you can access everything. And you're on your own for dinner. So you have the rest of the day free and you're on your own for dinner. So for the nights that we're on our own for dinner, myself or the bus driver will make a bunch of recommendations on where it is that you can dine, depending on what type of food that you're interested in. So it's not like you're let free and you got to figure it out on your own. We'll certainly make recommendations depending on what you're interested in. And it's a lot of what's that? That's a Saturday night. So that'll be a lot of fun in Ireland on a Saturday night in Dublin. Oh yeah, there's our whiskey tasting. And then we're on our own for the evening. See, I get ahead of myself. Okay, day 3. We're going to pack up and we're going to leave. Bus driver will tell us what time to put our luggage out that day. The tour includes your portage. So the only thing you need to do is pull your luggage in from outside your door and put it back outside your door when you're leaving. You don't ever have to bring your luggage up and down the stairs to or from the bus. It's all taken care of. Sunday, we're going to leave Dublin and we're going to head to Glendalough Visitor Center. It is the remains a monastic site, which is, it's dotted all across the glen. It's nearby the lake. The vista is absolutely gorgeous, but you get to walk around. There'll be a tour. There's a visitor center, but you get to walk around and check out the numerous crosses, towers, old buildings and chapels. And it's just amazing to be able to look into the history of the country and where they came from and what they did. Then we're going on to the JFK homestead. JFK's great-grandfather lived here. It is still a working farm. It is run by ancestors of JFK. Again, it is a visitor center with a tour. We learn the workings of the farm and the history of the JFK family and how the great-grandfather immigrated to the United States. And it just really covers the whole JFK dynasty from way back when to when they started to current. From there, we will head on to Kinsale. I love Kinsale. It's a beautiful fishing town. As you can see, that's our hotel, the Akron's Hotel. It overlooks the beautiful bay, and there's usually a lot of boats. There's a marina right to, well, it would be to the left if you're looking at the hotel, right to the left. The town is right to our right. And it is, so Dublin is a city, it's a major city. And people are often surprised because there's not green fields and your picture of what you think Ireland is. Kinsale is getting closer to what you think Ireland is. It's all these crazy one-way streets, really tiny cobblestones. Nothing is straight, everything is curvy with great little bars and little boutiques, shops. It's just adorable. And the Atkins, this is a beautiful hotel. We're going to have dinner here tonight. The hotel also has a sauna, a steam room, a pool, a jacuzzi, and a gym. We're having dinner, and it was fully refurbished in 2018. So it's a beautiful, modern, it's one of the most modern hotels in the area with great food, overlooking the water, and easy access to everything in the area. Day 4, we're going to do a walking tour of Kinsale, which is great because, again, that night you're going to be on your own. So we're going to do a walking tour with a local guide and learn about the history. It's steeped in history in Kinsale. And then we're going to head over to Charles Fort. So Charles Fort is in ruins. Oh, I should show you a picture of it. Yep, walking tour. Okay. Charles Fort is in ruins. It's beautiful. Don't laugh at me. We saw a ghost. I was there once. I have a picture of the ghost. I will show you the picture of the ghost we saw. But it's interesting because it is in a star-shaped structure from the 17th century. And the star-shaped structure worked so well, they brought it here to the United States. And it's actually, Fort Ticonderoga is in a star-shaped structure that takes after Charles Fort. So there's a connection right back here to a local area. And they use this star-shaped fort all over the place. I can't say the world because I don't know that for sure, but again, I'm not the tour guide. There's a tour guide that'll give us a tour. They'll talk all about the fort, how it was attacked, what happened, all that great stuff. So for your history buffs, this is a great tour. I really enjoyed it. Plus it's right on the river, so it's beautiful the entire time. After Charles Fort, we're heading on to the Michael Collins Center. So for those of you that may not know, Michael Collins was extremely important in the Irish Revolution and in the early 20th century for the struggle for the Irish independence. We will also be visiting where he was actually murdered. It's still a huge debate in that area, whether he was murdered, whether he was ambushed, or just somebody jumped the fence and murdered him. So we'll be checking that out and learning all about the impact he had on the Irish country and the revolution and getting Ireland's independence. From there, we're going to return back to Kinsale. You have the rest of the day at leisure to do what you want. There's some great restaurants in there. I was just there in October, and we actually just stopped and had a drink because it's just such a cute little town. I asked if we could do that. And of course, the bus driver said yes, because this is a custom tour and it's our tour. So if we want to make a change, if we want to stop off and do something and time allows, we can do it. Day 5, Blarney Castle. This will be my fifth trip to the Blarney Castle. I love the Blarney Castle. It's not a trip to Ireland without the Blarney Castle. There it is in all its glory from the backside or the side. I think that's the side. What's great about this is it looks beautiful from the outside, but there's actually no interior. So none of the ceilings survived. So you kiss the Blarney Stone all the way up. I'm pointing. It's not like you guys can see me point. You kiss the Blarney Stone all the way up on top, and you have to lay down on your back, and there's a space, like probably this big. You lean over backwards, you grab bars behind you, you sink your body down behind you, extend out over and kiss the Blarney Stone. And you can see on the top part there where that in the middle, that tall part, and there's space underneath, that's the space in which is open where you bend over backwards and slide down and stick your head in and kiss it. So it's quite an experience. But even if you don't want to kiss the Blarney Stone, you still go up, you walk around. There's different rooms you can go into. It'll show you what their bathroom was, what their bedroom was like, what their dining hall was like, full of history. Also on the grounds is a bunch of gardens that you can walk through. There's actually a poisonous garden. There's a spiritual garden. There's all kinds of great things to do if climbing the Blarney Stone is not your thing, which is understandable. If you're afraid of heights, you're not going to like it. But, you know, it's a good experience to say you went. All right, we're going to kiss the Blarney Stone. All right, and then we're on to the Dingle Peninsula. So this is a drive. The Dingle Peninsula is one of the most prettiest drives you'll ever take. We'll start in the port town, or we end in the port town. I don't remember. We'll stop along the way. It is a very, very narrow one-way road. Sometimes cars do come in the opposite direction. It makes for a very hairy experience. And since we're in a motor coach, the cars are usually the ones backing up. Cliff on one side, straight rock on the other side. It's very exciting. We'll stop, we'll take pictures. We go to the very end at Sleigh Head, which is just breathtaking, beautiful. Yes, look at, they're swimming. They swim in this water year round. It's freezing cold, but you'll see a bunch of people swimming, surfing. Inch Beach, we'll stop by Inch Beach, which is one of my favorites. Just beautiful to see that whole area. And hopefully we'll stop in the little town of Dingle. I don't think it's on our itinerary, but we'll make that happen. It's a cute little fishing town, cute little pubs, great food, cute little shops. They have a little grocery store. I think it's always fun to go in and see what kind of food and stuff they sell. that we don't have around here. So that night we're going to have dinner at our group. It's a one-night stay at the Rose Hotel in Tralee. It's a great location. You can walk into town. I've never been here before, so this will be fun to try something new. You can walk into town. It's a 4-star hotel, has a restaurant, a bar, and there's a look at the rooms. That obviously is a triple room, which I don't know if anybody's staying in at this point, but it's a nice room. All right, Cliffs of Moher. So we're going to get up that morning. The bus, they put the bus on a ferry, which is a great fun experience. I've done it a couple of times. Just did it last November with my son Aiden, and he absolutely loved it. It was great. You can get off the bus. You can stand outside the ferry, watch the crossing. It's very smooth. I have horrible motion sickness, never had a problem. It's a very smooth thing. We get off, we'll drive through the Buren. Again, a lot of vistas with some history, and we get to the Cliffs of Moher. Oh, there's the ferry. All right, Cliffs of Moher. So you can walk all along the top of the Cliffs of Moher. There is a welcome center. There's a museum in there. There's a place to eat. There's shops, but really this is where you want to be out. You want to be out walking around. Off in the distance, there's O'Brien's Tower. You can go in and tour that also, climb to the top of the tower. There's a lot of great stories. When I was here with my in-laws back in 1999, we used to be able to go right to the edge. At one point, we actually laid on our stomachs and hung over the edge. Due to so many people falling and dying and killing themselves, jumping off the Cliffs of Moher, they now have a barrier, so you can't get to the very end. And it's safe that way anyways, because when the wind kicks up, you think you're standing fine with your feet planted, and next thing you know, you're blown over. So the barrier is a good investment they put in there. Next, we are headed to St. Tola's Goat Farm. So we're going to go see the goats. So sheep herding is very popular in Ireland, and a lot of people do it. But for this tour, we're going to go visit the goats. We're going to do the goat farm. We're going to have a wine tasting at the goat farm. We're going to try all the different cheeses that they make and have a good time for ourselves this afternoon before heading back to Galway. We're on our way to Galway. So when we get to Galway, we're staying at, where are we staying? We're staying at the Galmont, right? Yeah, we're staying at the Galmont in Galway. It's a beautiful hotel right around the corner from the main drag, easy walkable to everything. We're going to have dinner in our hotel that night. This is a beautiful hotel. It's got a sauna, a jacuzzi, a pool, a couple of great bars, and a restaurant and a gym. But after dinner tonight, we're going to take a walking tour with Brian Nolan. Brian is a fascinating, energetic soul. That is not a picture of him. I don't know how that got in there, but Brian is going to do a night walking tour of Galway. So right now it's just a general tour, but he'll take us anywhere we want to go, tell us anything we want to hear. I was just there in November, and he pulled up and we jumped in his car and he drove us all around Galway, and we ended up some city I had never heard of, but it was great. He lived here he's from Galway. He lived here for a long time. I can't remember how long. Went back to Galway, and people started coming into town and say, hey, Brian, can you give me a tour? Can you give me a tour? And then he created a business out of it. And he's actually very well known. He does very well for himself. He's a wonderful man and does a great tour. And it's a lot of fun. And, you know, something to mention about this, because somebody had asked me, oh, gee, a night tour after dinner? You don't have to do it. At any point, you can do whatever you want to do if you don't want to do what's planned. As long as, if we're changing hotels, if we're leaving one city and going to another city, as long as you're on that bus, you can go off and do whatever you want. If there's something in the city you want to do that's not on the itinerary, if you wake up that morning and you want more time to sleep in and you'll catch up with us later, that's fine. And the same thing with the walking tour, because it's after dinner. If you're tired, it's been a long day, you don't want to go, you don't have to go. I highly recommend you go, but you don't have to go. So you do have some flexibility. This is the Galmont we're staying at. I don't think we're going to get to use this outdoor terrace in May or in October, but it does overlook the river. It's beautiful. And that's a shot of one of the rooms that looks just like the room I actually just had. All right, day 7, ARAN Islands in Dunangus. So again, we're going to get up the morning. We're going to take a ferry. The motor coach does not come with us this day. And we're going to head over to INISHMORE, one of the ARAN Islands. I think it's the biggest ARAN Island. Yeah, it's the largest one. We're going to board a minibus when we get there. We're going to head on to Den Angus, which is a prehistoric fortress on the edge of the cliff. Look at that. How awesome is that? No barriers. So we're going to learn all the history about Den Angus, what it stood for, what it protected Ireland against, and again, beautiful vistas overlooking the Atlantic on that giant cliffside. From there, we're going to head over to the wormhole. I will let you know this is not an easy walk to get to the wormhole, but this is a natural made water pool. And the ebb and the flow of the water fills in and goes back out again. And they have diving competitions here every year. You can find it online, and it's crazy. They dive off these big giant cliffs into the water, and they have to plan their dive correctly because they don't want to dive in as the water's going out, because, you know, we don't need to talk about what happens when that happens. But, and none of us will be diving in it. Please don't dive in it. But it's a natural made phenomenon, and it's gorgeous. So after that, we're going to head, where are we going afterwards? Oh yes, we're headed back to Galway with free time on our own and dinner on our own. Now, Galway is the claddagh capital of Ireland. So if it's been your dream to get a claddagh, this is the place you want to do it. I got mine right here, not flipping you off, but that's mine. Great little streets, no car streets. You walk up and down the streets, music on the streets, bars, restaurants. And I got a kick out of this slide. See how it says juice bar? I don't want any of the guys to get excited. There's no strip clubs in Ireland. They don't have them. I asked one day and I had to explain because they don't have dollar bills. They have their coins are $1. And I said to my driver, I said, well, what do you do in a strip club if you don't have $1 to stuff somewhere? And he had no idea what I was talking about because they don't have strip clubs. So a juice bar truly is exactly a juice bar. And none of you have your cameras on. So I'm hoping some of you are laughing right now. On my own here. Okay, last full day, we are going to get up and we're heading to Athlone Castle, which is a 13th century structure right here in Athlone. That's the city, the little town, I should say. There's the castle right there. It was, it's been owned by many people. It's been rebuilt and added to a bunch of battles. It's changed hands many times over the years, and we're going to learn the history. And then after that, we're going to walk to Sean's Bar, which if I back up, you can see right there, the little red bar right in the center of your screen. That is Sean's Bar. So we're going to go for an included drink at Sean's Bar. It is the oldest pub in Ireland. And it's in the Guinness Book of World Records with an official dating of 900 AD. It has been my dream to go to this bar and have a drink. I've stood outside of it. I've looked inside. I've never actually gone in and had a drink. So it's a tiny little step down in, stuff hanging all over the walls, all antiques and old stuff. And we're going to go and we're going to have a toast in Sean's Bar to all of us. From there, we're going to head on to Limerick. For our last night, we are doing a medieval castle banquet in the Bunratty Castle. You actually dine, do I have a picture of it? No, I don't. You actually dine right in the castle. We start off with some mead, then we head into the dining room. They put on a show. It's very entertaining, very funny. Everything's served family style, and it's something they have not done for the last 2 years. They're opening again this year. To start offering the medieval banquet. So I'm so excited to be able to get the opportunity to do that again. That night we are staying at the Limerick Strand Hotel. Again, as you can see, it's right on the river. It's a beautiful property. It does have a pool, a sauna, a steam room, a bar, a restaurant, nice modern rooms, great views out of all the windows. And it's only about a 20-minute ride to the airport. So the next day we get up, we head to the airport, and we are catching our 12:50 flight out of Shannon Airport back home. We arrive in JFK at 3:20, and our bus will be waiting for us to bring us back. We should get back into the Albany area about 7 o'clock. One of the great things to know is that you do clear US Customs and Immigration in Ireland, so that when we land in JFK, we are considered a domestic flight, and we don't have to deal with customs and immigration in JFK, which is a huge time saver. And that's what we'll be doing. We'll be toasting with our Guinness. By the way, Guinness in Ireland is so much different than Guinness here in the US, so much better in Ireland than it is here. So the only other thing, couple of things. There'll be surprises along the way. We do tend to fit in different stops and things to see and do that aren't part of the itinerary. So we like to throw a little extra things in there. If you've been on my website, for those of you that have already registered, the registration form is, for those of you that haven't registered, the registration form is on the website. And I highly recommend travel insurance. If anybody, there's information on the website about it. If anybody needs additional information about it, I'm happy to talk to you about travel insurance. I highly recommend it, especially going overseas when most insurance companies don't cover anything. If you should get hurt, get sick, need medical attention, it's well worth the couple $100 you're going to spend here to get it for there. And I think that's all I have to say. I'm a little parched here. I'm gonna blow dry. So does anybody have any questions? Because I don't see anything in the chat. If you got a question, please unmute yourself, speak away. Stacy, I know you got something. I can tell. I can see it brewing on your face. No? All right, so we've got about, we're in their neighborhood of 16 people or so that have signed up for the trip so far. We have to hit the price of the $31.45 is for 30 people. If we don't hit 30 people, we have to at least hit 20 people. We need at least 20 people for the trip to go. If we hit 20 people, it will be $100 more a person. If we hit 30 people, we're good to go. But the difference between 20 people and 30 people is $100 a person more. So that's where we currently stand. Nobody, anybody? You guys really, so either I did a really good job, or you love listening to me talk, or I've lost you all. All right, well, I guess that's it then, guys. You all have my email, my phone
Connie,
number.
can you hear me?
This is recorded, so if you have somebody that wasn't able to make it tonight that wants to see it, I'll have it up and ready in a day or two. It takes me some time to get it processed. And then I can send it on if anybody needs it for somebody else. Otherwise, thank you all for popping in tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to show up. And I hope to hear from all of you soon.
Connie, can you hear me?
Okay. Now hang on, I'm getting yelled at. What? Oh.
Connie,
Laurel, did you want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to ask when your other trip in October was gonna be.
I can hear her talking on my machine. You can't hear.
You can't hear me?
Oh, there you are, Laurel. Now I hear you.
Okay. Okay. You said you were gonna do another trip in October.
Yes.
Do you know when that is yet?
Well, that's a different kind of trip. That trip is with Katie Hilton Manning, who is a psychic medium and is a haunted tour of Ireland.
Okay.
So, they're going to Northern Ireland and stopping at paranormal sites that are known for ghost sightings and paranormal activity. So it's a very different.
And if we get 30 people, did I hear the price correct of $31.45?
Yes, the trip is priced at $31.45 at 30 people or more. We need at least 20 people for the trip to go. From 20 people to 29 people, it'll be $100 more per person. Okay. Once we hit 30 people, the price stays at the $31.45.
And the JFK bus is included? I'm sorry.
No, the JFK bus is additional.
Okay.
It is based on how many people are actually taking it. So I charter the bus, and then depending on how many people are taking it, we divide it by how many people are taking it, and that's the cost of the bus. In the past, it's usually been around $130 a person round trip. But again, that depends on how many people are taking the bus.
Okay. And registration form, can we find that on your website?
Yes, it's on my website under Undiscovered Ireland. If you click on that link, it'll take you to the flyer that talks about all about the trip. And then there's also the flyer for the registration form. It's a Google form, so you fill it out online and it comes right to me.
Okay, awesome.
Yep, deposit is by check only, $250 per person. I do that because I have several vendors involved in this and I have to spread out the deposits. But after the deposit of $250 a person, you can pay by credit card. For anything else for the rest of the trip, everything can be credit card. So
All
I know
right,
people like to earn their miles and that kind of stuff.
awesome.
Hey, Connie,
Okay. Yeah, Lori.
you said the weather was kind of like today. Like, what can we expect?
So the weather in late October is generally in the mid 50s. Rain is always a possibility in Ireland, but generally not, it's not like it rains all day. It's usually an on again, off again kind of thing. I always advise people to dress in layers. So it might be a little cooler in the morning or a little cooler at night when you go out. So, you know, a shirt with like a little sweater and a little rain jacket or light jacket over it. So you take the jacket off during the day, but you have it in the morning at the night. The dress is very casual. People do not get dressed up, you know, jeans and a sweatshirt, jeans and a shirt or a little sweater, whatever you're comfortable in. The only thing that's important is good walking shoes, no heels, no slides, that kind of stuff, because, you know, they don't have the ADA here like they do over there. So the streets are uneven, they're brick, they're cobblestone, curbs aren't marked. You know, it's quite different than walking through like New York City here. It's quite uneven in some places. And we're traipsing around old ruins and stuff. So you want to have a good, nice tie, comfortable, supportive shoe on.
Okay, perfect.
And don't bother with an umbrella. I've never found them using that. The wind blows, it turns inside out. The rain comes sideways. The rain in Ireland is different. Trust me, you're going to laugh, but it is different. It's just crazy. You gotta experience it to know Ireland rain. I've ruined a bunch of umbrellas in Ireland. Anybody else? My favorite subject.
Honey,
Yeah,
is
Jimmy.
Is Jeff going?
Yes, sir, he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
He better be going. He's the fun one, right?
JC Bailey Sesta. Get a few Guinnesses or Jameson in him and he turns into a different person. So yeah.
Very, yes.
Yes. And what about Mikey? Where's Mikey tonight?
Michael's in New York.
Oh, he is.
He is. He didn't tell you?
Well,
Your
not me.
husband knew.
I was gonna say he talked to Jeff today. Jeff probably knows he's in New York. Huh. All righty.
Mm-hmm.
Track him down for that.
Hey Connie, it's Jenny. When do you need that final number? When is that important and when is that final due date for the deposit?
The due date is flexible.
Mhm.
The cutoff date is June 1st.
Okay.
So June 1st is the drop dead deadline for the trip.
Can you, Connie, when you get a chance, can you send the recording so we can forward it to the folks that might be interested?
Yeah, absolutely. And when I say it takes me time, I mean it takes Jeff time to convert it and send it. So he converts it, sends it to me, and then I send it out to people. But I
I'll
can
send it out too,
absolutely,
Connie, for
okay,
sure.
I can absolutely put Jeff on that, put that on his honey-do list. He didn't turn his camera on. He had a nice Irish shirt on tonight, but you didn't get to see it.
And how long
right,
did you say the plane ride was?
There it is.
Hey, Jeff.
There's the Irish shirt.
Wait, let me see. I don't see him. There
You
it
see him? He's the big green
Yeah,
guy.
I see it.
You got a beard, he's got a lot of hair on top. Still letting it grow. The plane ride is 5 hours, 5.5 hours. It's quick. I think it's quick. We board the plane, it takes off. They come around, they serve you a drink. They come around, they serve you dinner. They clean up. They give you a couple of hours. They come around, they give you breakfast, and you land. And then same thing on the way home. You board the plane, they come around, they give you lunch. And then they clean up, drinks, the whole 9 yards. And then before you land, they give you a snack, which is usually some kind of wrap with a cookie or something like that. And yeah, I've always found, where was it? I think I can get to Ireland quicker than I can get to Aruba from here.
Better than China.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to China.
So another question I had is for people traveling like outside of New York, could they get there on their own or do they have to travel, through JFK?
Absolutely, they can get there on their own. So the airfare for this trip is $850. So you would subtract $850 from the $31.45, and they can get themselves there. The only thing is they have to be there before us. Our flight lands at 8:40 in the morning. They need to be there before us.
Okay.
Because when our flight lands, we will grab our luggage, get on the bus, and the bus goes. So I do have somebody interested in going in the night before. Wink, wink. And then that's fine. Then my bus driver will, in the past, has picked them up and brought them to the airport and met us, picked them up from the hotel and came to the airport and then met us as we got off our plane, and then off we all go together. So yeah, that's not a problem. Anything else, Jenny?
Just repeat where we're landing in case that does
Dublin.
happen.
I'm sorry. Yep,
Dublin,
we're flying.
okay.
Yep, we're flying into Dublin Airport,
Okay.
and then we're returning out of Shannon Airport. So we're into one, out of the other.
Gotcha.
And our flight leaves. We leave at 12:50 out of Shannon, but again, we're only about 20 minutes from the airport. So if that person's flight landed later or something, they could always just grab a taxi. They don't have, that. Or if they needed to leave earlier, they could grab a taxi. It's not far, it's not that big of a distance. So, they can leave at their leisure whenever they
Okay.
want to go. Yeah, absolutely.
Connie,
Yes.
what are the COVID restrictions?
As of right now, there are none. You don't have to be, and their borders are open. Everything's open. There's no masks. There's no social distancing. Right now, Ireland is living their best life as if COVID never existed.
Okay, vaccination as well, none required.
None required at this time.
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna jump off. I think I got all my questions answered. Thank you very much, Connie.
Bye, Jean.
Okay.
All right, well, y'all know how to get a hold of me if you need me. So thank you for joining me tonight. And I look forward to going to Ireland with all of you. Night.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Connie.
You're welcome.